Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. In today's video, we're going to briefly analyze Everton striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin to determine whether the 24-year-old should be a priority summer signing for Arsenal. So in today's video, first we're going to focus on Calvert-Lewin's role, and then we'll analyze his strengths and weaknesses to determine whether he would be a good tactical fit for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. So when we break it all down and we do look at the board, first we're going to focus on Calvert-Lewin's role at Everton, and we witness Everton adopting various systems with Calvert-Lewin leading the line as the central striker, whether it be a 4-2-3-1 with a player like Sigurdsson just in behind him, a 4-4-2 with a partner in Richarlison, or a 4-3-3 where they have wide players out on the touchline either looking to cut in or directly run towards the byline to deliver crosses into the box. When we focus on Calvert-Lewin, one of the key aspects to his game is the fact that he is an aerial threat, and his ability to occupy defenders makes him a direct reference point. Therefore, due to his physical frame, Everton have several outlets to play balls into him, whether it be from the wide players looking to cut in or carry the ball towards the byline, fullbacks looking to play long balls over the top, or central midfielders in deeper positions looking to play long balls in towards him. While Calvert-Lewin may not win every single aerial duel, his physical presence alone unsettles backlines, and even if he doesn't win the duel, sometimes we see runners breaking in behind him to get onto loose balls that the opposing side's defenders don't deal with.
In this example, you see Calvert-Lewin taking away two Aston Villa defenders and winning the aerial duel, and he's looking to flick the ball onto Richarlison, who's ahead of the fullback. He flicks the ball in towards his path, and Richarlison does a very good job of holding off the defender and attracting two towards him, while you end up seeing Calvert-Lewin making a run off the center backs who were initially challenging him for the ball. That ultimately results in Richarlison shifting towards the left-hand side, locating a run and playing the ball out into that zone.
In terms of his positioning with his back to goal, he does what you expect from him. He could drop off deeper and link play when there isn't pressure being applied in those central areas, or even when the opposing side defenders do look to apply pressure tightly from behind. He's capable of holding them off, retaining possession, and then linking play with his midfield.
In this example, you witness Davies splitting Mahrez and Fernandinho for Calvert-Lewin dropping off John Stones to receive possession in the midfield zone. As that play continues, you could see that Stones doesn't get tight on Calvert-Lewin, and the only player within close proximity to help Stones out here is Mahrez. What Calvert-Lewin does well here is that he shields the ball away from the pressure of Stones and Mahrez, and from there, rather than dropping off the ball in towards Sigurdsson, he looks to shift play out back into the midfield zone to help Everton retain possession and then play the ball out to the right by dropping it off towards Alan. For England against Belgium, Calvert-Lewin's tracked in towards zone half with tight pressure from Denier, and as you watch that play develop, you end up seeing Tielemans getting within close proximity of Calvert-Lewin, who is being pushed back by Denier. But what Calvert-Lewin does well here is that he holds off the pressure and then drops it off in towards his midfielder to progress the play.
If Everton didn't look to play balls in towards his feet, the issue that Arsenal have this season is that Lacazette nor Nketiah are able to win aerial duels against opposing side defenders. That isn't the case with Calvert-Lewin. You could see Everton playing long balls into the top towards his head, and he's able to flick it on towards his teammates or knot it down and towards the midfield to help them progress the play.
Here you witness a long ball punted in towards the path of Calvert-Lewin, backing off the Man City center backs, and what he does well here is that initially he wins the duel, but he nods the ball upwards, and you could see that Stones isn't tight on him. As that ball looks to drop, he shields it away from Fernandinho, who's stepping in to apply pressure, and you could see that the Man City center backs have retreated into their initial position, and in that 1v1 battle, Calvert-Lewin's able to use his strength and his control to brush aside Fernandinho, and rather than looking to play in Richarlison, you could see that he's looking towards the right-hand side, and from there he's looking to shift play out into that zone to help Everton push towards City's penalty area. From this long ball over the top from Andre Gomes, you could see that Calvert-Lewin receives it with his chest in between the Man United center backs, and he has Richarlison breaking towards the box as support. What ends up happening is that when he nods that ball down into the path of Richarlison, you could see that he is in an offside position, but he's dragged both center backs into deep keeper positions. That gives Richarlison time to now control the ball and look to shift it out towards Lucas Dean, who's breaking forward in towards the final third. And from there, Calvert-Lewin can get onside. He presents himself as a legitimate goal threat. The ball is slid out towards Dean, and from there you can see that now Richarlison's run in towards the penalty area has taken both center backs out of the game, and Calvert-Lewin's making a free run towards the back post off Maguire. But unfortunately for Everton, Dean's cross is cleared at the front post.
The other alternative for Everton in that situation is to play it in towards his chest, and from there he's able to back in towards the opposing side defender that is applying pressure and chest the ball in towards his teammates as well.
Here you witness another long ball played into Man City's half, and Calvert-Lewin does a very good job of holding off the center back and chesting it into the path of Sigurdsson, who's breaking in towards City's half. What that results in is now Everton's able to retain possession, and Sigurdsson can now play runners in behind, looking to break in beyond Calvert-Lewin. And if you look to another example, it's Pickford punting the ball in towards Liverpool's half. Calvert-Lewin isn't closed down tightly by the center back or Robertson, and he's able to chest the ball freely into the path of James Rodriguez, who isn't closed down between the lines, and from that position he's beyond Thiago, and he can look to shift play out towards the left channel.
So as you can see, Calvert-Lewin is competent with his back to goal, but he's also capable of varying his movement out and towards the channels where he's able to drag defenders into those zones, retain possession to link with his teammates, or at the very least battle with the opposing side's defenders to gain a territorial advantage. If that isn't the case, he's capable of making those runs in towards those zones, retaining possession, and then placing his teammates in legitimate goal-scoring positions to harm the opposition.
Here we see Keane on the ball ahead of Spurs, dropping off into the 4-4-2, and focus on Calvert-Lewin's positioning just and beyond the two center backs in an offside position. As Keane carries the ball forward, you could see that Calvert-Lewin spins away from Alderweireld and is looking to make a run in between Trippier and Alderweireld in towards the left channel. Keane plays that long ball over the top, and as we watch that play develop, you could see that Calvert-Lewin lets the ball bounce across his body so that it does roll into left half space, as he doesn't have any support in towards the penalty area. As that play develops once again, you see Calvert-Lewin dragging away Trippier towards the byline, and from there he could pull the ball back to Richarlison, who's breaking freely towards the edge of the penalty area. However, he doesn't do that, as he locates another runner breaking in towards the box as well, and while he is ahead of three Spurs center backs, Calvert-Lewin's able to create a legitimate goal scoring opportunity by playing that ball in towards his teammate approaching the penalty area late. However, he scuffs his first time effort wide of the net.
From a defensive aspect, he leads the line well and can force opposing defenders into mistakes, but it's often when they overcommit, and that's when he's able to step in to regain possession.
In this example, Man United shouldn't be in any trouble as Calvert-Lewin is approaching Maguire and looking to apply pressure near the halfway line. However, Maguire dallies on the ball, and that's where Calvert-Lewin looks to step in to apply pressure, as you could see that he has Richarlison prepared to close down the passing lane into Lindelof. Maguire doesn't anticipate Calvert-Lewin's pressure in time, and Calvert-Lewin's able to use his strength to brush off the United center back off the ball, and now what's key here is that he does win possession. You could see that he throws Maguire towards the ground, and from there, all he has to do is get on towards the ball, and he does have a 2v1 ahead of Lindelof. What happens next is that Calvert-Lewin picks up the ball, and you could see that Fred is shifting across instantly to attempt to close him down, but Calvert-Lewin plays a first-time ball in towards Richarlison, which places him in a 1v1 with Lindelof, and from there he places Richarlison in a legitimate goal-scoring position that at the very least should force David De Gea into a save.
However, from an attacking perspective, Calvert-Lewin's game isn't solely about his back to goal. There are many situations where Calvert-Lewin is stretching the opposing side's back line and looking to make runs into space to exploit the high defensive line. Now, there were two different ways that he could go about this. He could make runs in between the center backs to break 1v1 against the keeper, or he could look to make runs in between the center backs and the fullbacks to use his aerial advantage over the smaller fullbacks to knot in balls at the back post, whether it be knotting in a cross goal for his teammates or looking to serve as a legitimate goal threat. His main outlet was to make runs in between the left center back and the left back, and that's where he would look to exploit the opposing side's back line.
Following a delivery from the left channel against Liverpool, you witness Calvert-Lewin initially in between Joe Gomez and Robertson, with Iwobi breaking free at the back post. What Calvert-Lewin does well here is that he breaks into that space that he prefers, and he's able to use his strength and his aerial prowess to tower over Robertson, and from there Joe Gomez doesn't leap with the striker, and he's able to nod a low effort beyond the keeper. And then we witness a long ball played into the gap between Gomez and Robertson, and once again it's Calvert-Lewin bringing down the ball with his first touch. What happens next is that he looks to take the touch across Joe Gomez, and he does a very good job of doing that because he places the Liverpool center back in a position where he can't make a challenge unless Calvert-Lewin hesitates and looks to play in a teammate. Rather than taking a touch across the center back who's backpedaling in towards a position where he can't make a challenge, he lets the ball roll across his body and attempts to hit it with his left foot, and that gives Gomez enough time to make a challenge. However, Calvert-Lewin's low effort on goal is easily saved by the keeper.
In terms of his goal output, when he was making runs in behind to break 1v1, what we did notice is that when he got into those positions, Calvert-Lewin struggled to beat the opposing side's goalkeeper in those 1v1s, and that should be worrying for Arsenal fans, especially if he's being played in free on goal.
Here we witness Sigurdsson receiving the ball in transition, and it is Calvert-Lewin looking to make an instant run in between the center backs as Sigurdsson looks to play it across Laporte. When that pass is played, Calvert-Lewin's now making that run in between the center backs to receive the ball in an inside right channel position, and it gives Stones the opportunity to come across to make a challenge, or at the very least hold up the attack. As that play develops, Calvert-Lewin receives the ball in right half space, and you can see that Stones gets across to ensure that he can't cut centrally, and from there Calvert-Lewin fires a tame effort on goal that Ederson pushes away. And then following Everton winning possession in Spurs' half, you witness Doucouré looking to play the ball in between the two Spurs center backs for Calvert-Lewin. The issue that Calvert-Lewin encounters here is that he takes a first touch when the ball comes towards his feet, and he carries the ball across Dyer in towards right half space away from goal, which allows Alderweireld time to come across and block off the shooting angle, and from that position Calvert-Lewin fires a low effort on goal that is challenged by Alderweireld, but Lloris does a very good job of pushing it away.
Oddly enough, when he made deeper runs in transition to join the attack, what you'd end up seeing was that when Calvert-Lewin received the ball near the penalty area, he was able to win penalties for Everton.
Following an Everton break at Anfield, you see Richarlison on the ball with the two center backs dragged out of position, and focus on Calvert-Lewin looking to make a deep run from that midfield zone in behind to break free 1v1. Calvert-Lewin is able to receive the ball beyond the center backs, and Alexander-Arnold does a very good job of tracking that run, but look at Alexander-Arnold's position as Calvert-Lewin looks to get a shot off on goal. He doesn't look to make a challenge on the center forward, and that allows Calvert-Lewin to sweep a tame effort on goal that Alisson does push away, but it's when he looks to get the rebound, Alexander-Arnold takes him down for the penalty.
But when you actually break down how Calvert-Lewin is capable of scoring goals, while he does miss his chances in and around the penalty area via 1v1 or a few sitters, when you take a deeper look as to where he is scoring these goals, majority of them are in and around the opposing side's 6-yard area. Therefore, for those questioning how Calvert-Lewin will impact Arsenal's attack, what we already see from Nketiah and Lacazette is that they do drop off into that midfield zone to create overloads and that midfield diamond, but Calvert-Lewin could do so much more. Arsenal would now have a reference point to play long balls over the opposing side's press so that Calvert-Lewin can bring it down and link play with his teammates, whether it be with his feet, his chest, or his head. And what you also see in and around that penalty area is that when Arsenal get the ball out into those wider areas, for instance, the Tierney overlap, Martinelli looking to cut in and deliver across, or on the right-hand side where the right-sided attacking player or the right back also look to play balls into that area, Calvert-Lewin serves as a legitimate goal threat, as a creator with his aerial presence. And one of his underrated traits is that his ability to occupy defenders does create space for his teammates breaking in late towards the box or breaking in at the back post. So as you can see, signing Calvert-Lewin would provide Arsenal with an all-round direct threat that they currently lack in the final third, but his streaky finishing along with his limited positional scoring range presents doubt as to whether he's the best option available.